I'm the program coordinator for the telehealth program at Mass General Hospital. And I want to go over a little bit today, a very high-level overview of what the telehealth department is responsible for at Mass General, as well as do a little bit of a deeper dive into one particular program that I myself am quite involved in. I wanted to start and get a sense of, is anyone familiar with virtual visits or a virtual component within healthcare? Have you done it yourself, or are you within?
I haven't done it myself. I've just heard about it going to Mass General and
Okay.
some of the different departments that are using it.
Great, great.
I heard a little bit because I know Group 5 and MGH, they have that compatibility to do that. So I'm interested to find out what it is.
Awesome. So essentially, the way that we break it down in telehealth is we have a quadrant with 4 different types of services. So we have virtual visits, virtual consults, and then we have what we call e-visits and e-consults. And the way this is broken down is, over here on this side, these are real-time live video interactions. The top one, virtual visits, is provider to patient. So a direct connection between a doctor and his or her patient. Virtual consults is a similar idea via video. It's provider to provider. So it's an MGH provider who could be consulting with a provider from an outside hospital. This could be a small community hospital. That's where most of our work is. One of the largest examples of this is telestroke. So for example, a patient can present to Martha's Vineyard Hospital with symptoms of a stroke. Martha's Vineyard Hospital doesn't have the stroke specialist that we have here at MGH, so they can remote in via video to an MGH clinician here and have a consult. So the MGH clinician can view the patient, they can have the patient do various types of activities to really see if it's worth bringing the patient all the way into Boston or if there's interventions that they can take at Martha's Vineyard Hospital. This side over here is what we call our E-activity, and this is asynchronous communication. So this is not real-time video, it's more of a survey type visit. So E-visits, again, is provider to patient. So it could be used for in-between visits. Our biggest department is psychiatry, so they can check in on medications, and the way they do this is, again, through surveys. So the provider will send the patient a survey that can list their symptoms, how they're doing with their medications, etc. The patient can respond to the survey, and the provider can then see the patient's responses. Similar to like an email communication, but it's through a secure platform, and the provider is the only one that can initiate it, so the provider's not getting bombarded with requests from patients all the time. E-consults, again, provider to provider. This is used within MGH, and we say, for instance, a primary care physician at MGH can consult over with a a specialist, a cardiologist or whatnot, to see if their patient really does need a consult or if there's interventions that the primary care physician can take. So the program that I want to dive a little bit deeper into is virtual visits. That's our largest program. We've been doing it for 3 years, and again, it's the one that I'm most involved in. So since 2013, we've done over 7,000 visits with over 2,000 unique patients, and we have about 200 MGH providers that are involved in the program right now. You might ask, why? What's the benefit? Why would providers and patients want to do this? It's really for the patient's sake. Huge time saver. Rather than traveling into Boston and paying for parking and dealing with traffic, they can sit on their couch or in their office and see their physicians in the same way. As you can imagine, Boston winters are miserable. So the winter, I think it was 2 years ago now, we saw our highest volume. So it's just a really convenient way for patients to still have the visits with their providers from the convenience of their own home, and really oftentimes we find that they can get pretty much the same exact care. So that is it. Does anyone have any questions? Sure.
I actually do have one question.
Yeah.
As you're talking about it, I'm trying to remember which pediatric department uses it. I feel like it's allergy, but I don't know if that's correct.
So pediatrics, we're in cardiology, we're in GI, we are in the PD PICU. We aren't in pediatrigy yet. We just started with PDID.
Yeah, we do cardiology for the pediatric. Okay, maybe
Yeah,
that's
PD
what I'm
cardiology is the biggest one for PD.
Question.
Sure.
Is this covered by health insurance? Do you know?
So I don't wanna get into too much
Yeah.
overtime. The short answer is mostly no.
Okay.
Mostly it's internally funded.
Okay.
Blue Cross started covering it in January, and we're starting to see more and more payers. Surprisingly enough, for how innovative Massachusetts is with healthcare, they're way behind with this insurance coverage. Almost every other state has full parity,
Wow.
except for us. So
Wow.
we'll get there.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure.
You can take the chair over there if you want to just position yourself right in front of us. Good job, by the way. Emily, you can go first.
Yeah. So I thought you had such great personality and you made it fun. I mean, it was a really interesting topic. I think you had our attention anyway, but like just a couple jokes about the winter and some other stuff was really good. And you had really good use of hands. You had no foot movement, I thought, which is what you had to work on. So you were either very conscious of it or, I don't know, just maybe because it's like work now, but and then just actually on your board, I thought you wrote it for improvement. You wrote it down really fast, and you like didn't finish the word. It's a very small thing. Like you didn't finish the word consult,
Yep.
and maybe just like you had time. Like you could just take the time to write it out. That was the only really improvement.
Amy?
Yep. So I thought that was really good. I love the visual. I thought it kind of made everything much easier to follow.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what to critique right now. I thought I don't know. I mean, it was so clear. It was definitely a very interesting topic. And it just sounded like you just knew a lot about it. You were able to answer the questions, which you didn't really expect, and it was really good.
I think you did very well. You were very organized, and you could tell you're very passionate about it, like you like what you do, which is, it came across, and it was a very interesting topic.
I liked the beginning of the presentation. You started kind of answering a question, so it was interactive. You're extremely knowledgeable what you do. Seems that you enjoy it too. For improvement, I don't know. Little bit nervous sometimes, but I guess it's normal for everyone else here.
I think you had a really good hook, like with the question you asked at the beginning. I was just like, oh wait, what is that? I've heard that word before, and so it got me really like wanting to listen and learn more about it. So that was really good. I don't have any critiques. Like I think you did a really good job, so I don't have any critiques.
I feel the same way, and I thought you did an awesome job. There was no foot movement. You kept your hand, which you already did before last week. It was a really interesting topic, and it looks like not only are you passionate about it, but like you just think it's a really interesting topic too, which
Yeah.
really comes out, which makes everybody else more engaged. I felt. I really don't have anything that I feel like you need to improve on, to be honest with you. I thought you did a really awesome job.
I think you had a really good presence. You commanded the room. You looked at good eye contact. You was circling back. And you waited for a couple seconds to lock eyes with people, so I thought that was really good. Yeah, I don't really know anything else to say. Great job.
You felt very comfortable with the topic, and it was so organized that visual would help me in my mind follow the flow of your conversation. It was very like flowy, that was easy to follow. I liked your hand gestures, on what you can improve. It felt to me like it was less ums than last week. There were still ums. I mean, obviously I wasn't counting, so when you see it on the video, you can. And I have the same feeling I had last week. It's not because you don't know. So you say the and you follow it right with, I think it's just how like you speak, but it's not like to gain time because you have the topic right now.
I thought it was great, and right off the cuff, when you had that interaction with Carrie, it was like, you had people hooked. So I thought that was huge, and then you immediately put the grid, which was like your outline. So then as Brenda mentioned, I immediately knew what you were gonna talk about, and I could just follow, oh, this is what's coming next. And I just wanna say, you seemed like so easy, like so casual, so comfortable, like I don't detect any nerves or anything. And I kept thinking to myself, not to bring it back to me, but I felt like you had more time than me. I don't know why, like you didn't seem like you were rushing, and you explained everything thoroughly. So I don't know if that's just, again, my misperception. I felt like, what? I had 2 minutes. It just, it like blew up in, no time. So I thought it was great.
It just could be that your presentation was a little shorter than your presentation. But I do, to piggyback on that, you were not moved at all by me doing this or this. Brenda was doing this, I think, but I'm not going to do that. No, but so you weren't moved by that at all, and I thought that was very admirable, because even I, like, if somebody's like, and I present all the time, but if somebody's in the audience doing like this to me, I'm like, shoot. So that was really good. It was a really good presentation. So the good thing about the opening question is it's nice for the audience to feel like you are engaging them, or you're like taking them with you in your presentation. I don't know if you felt it, but it's also nice for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you're beginning with a room full of strangers, and I usually open with a question because I usually am afraid of my audience. And then if you ask a question, you're like, okay, we have something in common. We can have a conversation instead of me just talking to you. Did you like notice that? Or yeah. So that was really smart to do. You had nice eye contact, nice hand gestures. So your style of presenting is kind of the same thing, the same style as Julia's style. You are both teachers, which I like. It's kind of like a mama bear thing. You teach stuff, and that engages people. So don't lose that style. It's a really good style. I almost detected no ums. There's no foot movement, which you can have foot movement if you want. Like if you want to walk around, you can do that. But I truly, truly appreciate you trying so hard to eliminate that foot movement that I saw up there. Are you more comfortable walking around, or did you really try hard to just stand?
I think last week my foot movement was more like a rocking back and forth, like a nervous like tick almost. So I was really trying to focus on keeping my feet not rocking back and forth, but I agree, I could probably like walk around a little bit more and
If you're
take my mind
comfortable.
off.
Yeah, if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, then just please stay the way you are, because it wasn't distracting at all. It was good. You just seemed comfortable. The only thing I have, let's see, so sometimes you were out of breath a little bit, and I think that is a little nerves, like a nervous tick. It doesn't hurt to just in between, or whenever you're writing on the board, take a deep breath, or whenever you're ending a sentence, deep breath. Nobody will notice, and it actually calms people down because they see a human being there instead of like a robot talking. So just take a deep breath, ground yourself, and just go on with your next sentence. That was a lot that I had to say, but it was always all good. Good job.
Thank you.
Awesome.